Okay, yesterday we were talking about, the last thing we were talking about was kaparis. Okay, so we learned to take a rooster for a man, a chicken for a woman, and you swing it around the head, and the primary level of it, the thing is the shechita. It's also customary that when, the din is when you shecht a bird or a beast, you have to cover the blood. If you shecht a behema, like a cow, then you don't have to cover the blood. If you slaughter fowl, like chicken or birds, or like a deer, which is a kosher animal, but if you slaughter a deer, then you have a mitzvah of kisui dam.
Is goat allowed?
What? That's called behema. That's called animal, so over there you wouldn't need to do covering the blood. But practically speaking is by chickens, kaparis, you have to check. So the custom is that the person himself tries to do the mitzvah, even though it really belongs to the sheikhet. But the sheikhet gives permission for other people to do it. So when you do it, the sheikhet shechs the chicken, the blood comes down, and then there's the sawdust underneath it, and then there's usually a collection of sawdust you take in your hand, and you make the bracha and then you cover the blood with that thing, so you're getting another mitzvah before Yom Kippur.
What's the reason?
Oh, it's exactly because the Torah says that when you shecht a bird, fowl, or beast, you have to kisui dam. A behemoth not. So they go to a slaughterhouse where they shecht all the animals, they don't cover the blood. What? Cow is an animal. Any domesticated animal.
What is a beast?
A deer. I'm talking, it's a lot of beasts. We say kosher. Huh? Buffalo's an animal. Well, whatever. Okay. So then you do the mitzvah kisui dam.
Buffalo is a chayam.
Huh? Buffalo? I don't know. I think it's a behemoth. I don't know. Okay. It's also it's customary Erev Yom Kippur to give a lot of tzedakah. In fact, it's brought down in many places. They would have the Baal Shem Tov said that when you give tzedakah Erev Yom Kippur, the sound of the coins would actually shake away, send away a lot of the evil forces. So it's interesting, the Rebbe used to come down to Mincha Erev Yom Kippur. He came down with a sack, literally a sack like this, of coins. And there are hundreds and hundreds of plates that everybody put out, for their own tzedakahs. And they'll take, like the Rebbe, in my times it was like 20, 25 minutes just to walk in from the door in downstairs in 770 to his place. Took him like 20 minutes because there were like hundreds and hundreds and the Rebbe just hold the sack and go like this, into each plate. He just put coins. It wasn't, today, you get dollar bills, they're also good. The bigger the dollar bill, the more noise it makes. Now, okay, so you have to give tzedakah, you obviously have to do tshuva. You're supposed to, if you insulted anybody, you have to ask him forgiveness, or you hurt anybody, you have to ask him forgiveness before Erev Yom Kippur. It's also customary, there's a din Shulchan Aruch, this one of the few times that halacha says it's obligatory for a man to go to the mikveh, and that is Erev Yom Kippur. Either because of gerus, it's like a conversion process before Yom Kippur, or tshuva process before Yom Kippur. In fact, many people in our circles, we go to mikveh 3 times in Erev Yom Kippur. Once in the morning before davening or before kaparis, and then before mincha, and then after the Sridam Hafsekes, before Kol Nidrei, we have a custom of going again. They tell a story with the Rebbe's father, Reb Leivik, that he was once in a situation he wasn't able to go 3 times. Over there was not mikvahs like here, it was the river, whatever. So he went to the river, he got undressed, he toiveled, got out of the water, dressed again, undressed, toiveled, dressed, undressed, and he toiveled 3 times, one after another. But today, our custom is we go to mikvah 3 times. Again, the main one is before mincha. That's for sure halachic. If you're only doing one, you should do the one before mincha. If somebody is not able for whatever reason to go to mikveh, so they can do what's called tisha kabin. Tisha kabin is 9 kavim of putting, water over your head. That is approximately, they estimated like 12.5 liters of water. So if you stand under a shower for a few minutes, that's called tisha kabin.
Before mentioning after Chatzos?
Yeah, it should preferably be after Chatzos, or at least the pasuk write not earlier than an hour before Chatzos. Ideally, the custom is to go after Chatzos. But our custom is that before mikveh, you do malchus, mikveh, and then mincha. That's the... Huh? Come, I will show you when you come Erev Yom Kippur. I'll personally give it to you. Oh, okay, good. Stay there. Okay, now, Yom Kippur Shachris, we don't say in the davening Mizmor L'Seidah. After Baruch Shema, the paragraph Mizmor L'Seidah, we don't say. We don't say it on Shabbos, we don't say it on Yom Tif, we don't say it Erev Yom Kippur, and we don't say it Erev Pesach for the duration of Pesach. Why is that? Because the Korban Teda was a Thanksgiving offering. Today it's what we call benching gomel. In the olden times in the Beis Hamikdash, if somebody went somewhere, did something, got sick, whatever, that they have to bench gomel, there would have to be a Korban Teda. Now we say in davening every day, Al Teda Ve'al Nazir, the achilas in liyem v'layla. The amount of time allotted, different korbanos, 2 days and a night, 1 day and a night. So the allotment of korban teda that the owner ate from the korban, the kohanim, had to be eaten that day and the following night. So let's say you brought it Tuesday morning, you had a whole day Tuesday plus Tuesday night to eat the korban. Part of the korban teda, in addition to the animal, was 12 loaves of bread, of chametz. So therefore, Shabbos and Yom Tif, the din is, you're not allowed to bring, the only korbanos sacrifice you're allowed to bring on Shabbos and Yom Tif is the mandatory, obligatory ones that the Torah says on Shabbos, that you have to bring. If somebody wanted to donate a korban, or any korban, even if it's a chatos, ashum, whatever, the Torah says, you can only bring the obligatory korbanos that the Torah says you must bring on Shabbos. Any other optional korban was not allowed to be brought on Shabbos or Yom Tov. So therefore, korban teda obviously was not brought on Shabbos and Yom Tov. If it wasn't brought on Shabbos and Yom Tov, we don't say Mizmor L'Seidah. Very simple. Erev Yom Kippur, why don't we say Mizmor L'Seidah? Because when you bring the korban teda, let's say Erev Yom Kippur, you have to be able to eat it that day and the following night. The problem is Erev Yom Kippur night is already Yom Kippur. So you can't eat the korban teda. And the thing is, you're not allowed to bring a korban unless if you're able to eat it for the allotted time Torah gives you. So therefore, Erev Yom Kippur, we can't bring a korban teda because they couldn't bring it in the Beis Hamikdash because they couldn't eat it at night. Pesach, they couldn't bring it, including Erev Pesach, because it had chametz in it. So therefore, Erev Pesach, he can't bring it. Pesach, he can't bring it. So these are the days you don't say Mizmor L'Seidah. Erev Yom Kippur, we don't say it. Again, because we couldn't bring a korban teda Erev Yom Kippur. Our custom is, and there's a lot of millions of different customs, we said the other day, Erev Yom Kippur, there's no tachnun. The mincha before there is. Erev Yom Kippur, this year, Yom Kippur is Wednesday. Wednesday. So Tuesday, Erev Yom Kippur, there's no tachnun. Monday, at mincha, there is tachnun. But there's no tachnun Erev Yom Kippur. If there's no tachnun, we don't say Avinu Malkeinu, we don't say Tachnun, we don't say whatever, huh? Till David, I mean all the things we live out. We don't say. Okay. Now it's also customary to give out lekach Erev Yom Kippur. What is the concept? By the way, the Rebbe brings on, it originates from the Baal Shem Tov, this minig of giving out lekach, honey cake. So the custom is, the gabbai, whoever it is in the shul, the Rebbe used to stand hours and hours and hours and hours, and then later years with such a big crowd, he started a few days before, giving out lekach. Mamish, the whole Erev Yom Kippur, the Rebbe was standing giving out lekach. So The lekach is honey cake. So you ask, in Yiddish they would say, git lekach, please give lekach, and then the person would give it to you, and they would bless you with Shana Tova Mesuka, good sweet year. Why honey cake? Because it's honey, because it's sweet, and that's very simple. What's the concept behind it? So it's brought down in Svarim that if, God forbid, it would be decreed upon us to go begging that year, that we'd have to beg for food, we should fulfill the obligation by asking for it Erev Yom Kippur. So therefore there's a custom that, Erev Yom Kippur, you ask your friend for lekach, they give you lekach, it could be any time during the day. What? Because Amnatzech is a very important tefillah, and even when you say it after davening, it's not, the tefillah is going to break. You don't say b'derech b'kosh srachav. You don't say it as requesting. Normally when you have a problem, you say Lamnatzech Berakov. It's a good tefillah to request things. Yan Hashem b'yem tzor, Hashem will answer you, So we don't, that's the only thing that's important to say every day, because it's a very important parak of tefillah. What? I'm telling you what he did. I wasn't there and I didn't ask him. Okay, now, eating on Yom Kippur, now it's a very interesting thing. The Gemara asks a question. One pasuk says, V'tisha b'chedesh ba'erev, me'erev ad erev tishpusu shabbatchem. One pasuk says, simply the translation of the pasuk is, on the 9th of Tishrei, you fast from evening to evening. Another pasuk says, you fast on the 10th. So the Gemara says, are we fasting on the 9th or are we fasting on the 10th? So the Gemara answers, what the Torah means is, you should eat on the 9th, and by eating on the 9th, Hashem will consider it as if you fasted on the 9th. That means, as we all know, if you have a mitzvah of eating and a mitzvah of fasting, eating is an easier mitzvah than fasting. Yet, by eating Erev Yom Kippur, Hashem considers it and gives us reward as if we fasted. What?
I never understood that.
Why? Hashem says in Shechanah, the reason Hashem wants us to be healthy, He doesn't want us to fast for 2 days. Even though the Gemara says, Rabbi Yechon, some people fasted 2 days in Kippur. Yom Tov you have to keep, outside of Israel, you keep 2 days Yom Tov. Yeah, why don't we fast 2 days in Kippur? So the Gemara talks about that. Yeah, because today we do have a calendar, but it's too much for a person to fast. Okay, so by eating an Erev Yom Kippur, because Hashem commanded you, it's it's considered as if you fasted also on Erev Yom Kippur. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. But in Mitzvah Hashem, you have dipping the Challah Erev Yom Kippur into honey, all the things that will to be continued.